Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. If you're looking for a great cable with a 100-year warranty, look no further than Sinusoid.com. They make cables.
And smiles. And this show possible. That's right. They make this show possible with their generous money that they send to us, that Steve and I get to put in our pockets so we stay motivated to keep making this podcast that you love listening to. So if there's any reason to support a cable company, I'd say it's because they support us, right? It's a good reason.
What about all the people in the inner circle that send us money?
Those guys are awesome too. But we don't do sponsorships for them.
Oh, okay. This episode is also brought to you by Moniker Guitars. We are currently demoing through one of their Rival Series models.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic little player.
I think I will have the official demo up for it this week. I wanted to spend a week or two just getting familiar with it and playing with it before I did the demo. But yeah, I've been having a bunch of fun with it. I'll say that right now. I think it's a great guitar, and I think its price is completely appropriate for its quality. It's a great playing guitar, and I think it looks really cool. It's got just a really unique, cool look to it. So go check out Moniker Guitars. They make a wide range of products, so there's a lot to choose from there. But the Rival series is passing the test as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a neat guitar. Hey, this is Ryan.
And this is Steve, and you're listening to 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, trading, fixing, modding, playing,
off
reviewing.
The rails already. The guitar buying, selling, trading, fixing, modding, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
There we go.
I did it.
Ryan.
I don't even do that in the YouTube videos. I just have it memorized from listening to you.
Thanks for the assist.
Good assist. All right, let's just jump right into it. You got anything new, Steve?
Nope.
And then you're supposed to ask me if I have anything new.
You got anything new, Ryan?
I do, Steve. Thanks for asking. That's so just like generous of you to ask about how I'm doing and what's going on in my life. So I've had this Fender reverb. Can't talk. I've had this Fender reverb unit for, I want to say, a year and a half now. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten a lot of playtime out of it because it always seems like it's kind of bugging out on me. So a couple of weeks back, or a week or so back, Blake Weiland picked up a Premier reverberator unit, which is also a different version of a vintage spring tube reverb unit from the 60s. And it inspired me to go finally open up my Fender reverb unit and see what the heck was wrong with it. I tried to do that months back, and I just ended up changing a cable in it because I thought the cable was a problem, and that wasn't the problem. It was doing like this thing where the wet signal would cut out on me.
Weird.
And it was super annoying. So I opened it up, and I detached the reverb pan, and when I do that, it works perfectly. No problems. And then I put the pan back on. I put the whole thing back together, and it's like farting out on me again. I couldn't figure it out. So I pulled it apart again.
Right.
And I realized that in the Fender reverb units, there's this whole system for when you're transporting it. You got it in your car. Mm-hmm. You don't want the springs to bounce all over the place. So there's a metal bar that you press in and lock it into place, and it holds the whole reverb tank and all the springs involved tight against the baffle, and there's a piece of foam that engages with the springs to mute them. So what was happening is the springs were getting caught on that piece of foam, and it was muting the whole thing.
Oh, weird.
And it was like the foam was just too big, and the springs were too close to it. So I took like a long razor from a safety cutter, and I just shaved the foam down a good like 2/8 of an inch. What is that, a 1/4 inch?
Yes.
Can you do the math?
Yes. Yes.
And it completely cleared the foam away from the springs, and it works perfectly now. And I'm so excited. I finally get to use this reverb unit that I've had around forever.
So has it always had this problem?
Yeah, it's been like off and on since I got it, and it's just been super frustrating. And it's a bummer because I paid so much money for it. They're not cheap. I mean, it's the cost of like 2 modern pedals. It was like $375, $400, something like that. But still, it's a bummer that I haven't been able to use it. And I'm in a surf rock band. I should be using this thing. So now it's totally functional. I'm excited to use it and haul it around with me and do recording projects with it. but I've lost some of that muting function where the springs don't fully press against the foam anymore. But honestly, I'm completely fine with that. I have amps that I transport in my car where I can hear the springs bouncing all over the place. It's really not that big of a deal. And those reverb pans are pretty affordable. They're like $20. It's not a big deal if they do bounce all over the place and they break. Like, it's not an expensive fix.
Yeah, with those things, you're really like paying for the circuit and everything else going on.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's basically an amp that's just dedicated to reverb. There's 2 transformers in there and 3 tubes and a bunch of other stuff going on. Another thing, since I got it working, I was so happy I celebrated by buying an alternate reverb tank for it. It comes stock with the standard Accutronics tank, and a lot of people say that if you buy the mod tank version, that it's a lot closer to a vintage sound. So I spent $30 and I ordered a premium reverb tank for it.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to that showing up, and I'll probably do a video shootout comparing the 2 tanks just to see how they sound different.
Yeah, and then
if they sound different.
And then someone will be like, "Oh, well, you might have moved the microphone in between these 2 things, so your sampling isn't accurate."
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the reverb unit on a table, and I'll record a guitar loop before the reverb unit, and then leave the amp and the mics in the same place, same settings, and just swap tanks and be able to get a comparison that way, instead of doing playing different and stuff.
How will they know that you didn't move one of the knobs on the tank?
They won't know. They'll just have to trust me. Or maybe I'll take a video shot of the knobs, and then they can look at the shot,
That one moved 12/12ths of an inch.
Yeah, you see this later in the day, and the sun heated up the room, and it made the tubes react differently. So that's why it sounds differently. It might not sound different at all. It might sound the same, but people make big claims about these things. Yeah. So I want to check it out. It's worth the cost to me to explore this. So I'm going to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to get into it? Do we have any house cleaning or other things to tackle before we get into it?
Yeah, let's drop this one right at the top. We're doing a Christmas music episode, so if you've got a Christmas song that you recorded, whether it's an original or a cover, and you want to get it onto our Christmas episode, send it to us, 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Christmas lands on a Monday this year, which means we're just going to do this, kind of like Christmas song compilation with maybe a little bit of talking between us in between the songs as our official Monday episode. So we're relying on you guys to send us content for that. So please send us songs. It doesn't matter if you sent them to us before previous years, or if it's something really old or something you're not even proud of. We'll enjoy listening to it. I promise. All right, let's jump on this ad. We have got a Fender guitar here in air quotations.
Yeah, this ad was sent in by Ryan.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, I found this. It's local. It's up in Oceanside, I think.
Oh, man, it
looks like it's from Oceanside, right? Total Oceanside diss.
I'm trying to figure out what this even started life as.
I know. When I look at the headstock and how big the truss rod hole is, I kind of get like a Univox vibe. Is that weird?
No, I know what you mean.
It's also got a Gibson style nut on it. That's not a Fender nut.
Oh, weird.
Which makes me think like 70s import.
Yeah, no, this is definitely... I'm definitely leaning import more because of the way the...
also string through hardtail.
The routing is...
Well, the routing makes me think that that's a home route.
No, I think
you don't think so?
I think that's factory.
That's so sloppy.
Yeah, no, that's import. That's import routing from like the 70s and 80s. Some of them
so sloppy.
Some of them are pretty bad. You know what? The worst thing about this is actually that the body, the wood of the body doesn't look too bad. Like I like that natural.
Well, it looks like it's about a 15-piece body. There's a bunch of strips of wood in this thing, which isn't bad. I actually don't mind the look of the wood.
Yeah.
But it looks like this thing has been in a monster's armpit for 60 years. Like, it is so gritty. Yeah. And I'm talking like a slimy, gross monster. This thing looks nasty.
There's the back of the neck in one of the pictures, it looks like it's got a skunk stripe, but it's not. That's just grime.
Oh, it's just greasy. It looks like, you know that scene in Fight Club where they're trying to steal the fat out of the liposuction dumpsters?
Yeah.
And like the bag rip opens and spills everywhere. It looks like it spilled onto this guitar. Like it's that nasty.
Yeah, it's just completely gross.
So for the most part, this thing is not together. It's just a neck and a body. There's no pick guard. There's no bridge. There's no even output jack cover on this. It's just a strap body with a neck. It does have tuners and it has the nut, but you wouldn't be able to pick this up and be able to figure out if it plays well or not when you picked it up. And I think that would be a big gamble. They want $60 for this thing. I'm thinking half at best. I would want to pay $20 for this. The only reason I would pay $60 is if they were like, if they could provide the make and model of it. Like if they said this is a Univox Ripper or whatever, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I don't think it is.
No. I don't think this is anything interesting.
So another odd part about this is that
they're holding the neck in place with wood screws?
Yeah, the neck is held in place by 2 wood screws without any neck plate and without any washers. There's just 2 screws holding it in. Yeah. So you're going to have to fix that. Also, did you see the interesting bridge situation?
That it's like oh yeah, that
there's like 2 thumb screws for like a
floater. Like you're supposed to put a trapeze on this thing,
or like a tune-o-matic or something like that,
right? But
that's not stock. It's drilled for a string through hardtail strap bridge.
Yeah.
So someone at some point had like either a tune-o-matic or like a harmony style bridge on this or something like that. This guitar has been on a journey, and I feel bad for it. It needs to be put out of commission, really. Mm-hmm. Like this is the dog at the pound that everyone looks at and like, yeah, that dog's not going to get adopted.
Yeah. On the body, somebody spray painted in like block lettering Fender. On the back of the neck, somebody spray painted in like lowercase block lettering that almost looks vaguely Old English. The name Joe.
So I think we can either blame Joe for this, or we can figure that this was done in tribute to Joe. What's really funny about Fender being stenciled on the guitar body is that it's upside down. It's for the benefit of the person holding it.
It's to remind you that you want to be playing a Fender, but instead you're playing this.
Why would anyone do that? It's the weirdest thing. It's so weird. This is the craziest junk pile I've ever seen. If it's still up, even though it looks so nasty and you're probably going to get diseases if you are in the same room with it, if it's still up, I might write this guy and offer him $15.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was still up. And honestly, like, you know, aside from like the Fender, which actually also might look like it's clear coated into place, like you could probably sell the body on eBay for like $15 or $20 if you cleaned it first. It would really depend on how hard it is to clean all this stuff.
It looks so grimy. It looks really bad. It looks like someone had like just oily goo all over their whole body and played this thing naked for years, for decades. This is the bad relic. This is a bad kind of relic. But it's an honest, real relic. That's for sure. All right. Do we have anything else to say about this garbage pile?
No, it sucks.
It super sucks and it's way too expensive. Oh, gross. I feel dirty. I want to give this thing... You ever see like the GIF or the video of the person like washing a guitar with soap out in the driveway? They're just scrubbing it with a big sponge and a bunch of soap and a hose. That's what this guitar needs. It needs to be out in the driveway. It needs to be like hit with a power sprayer and a bunch of soapy suds. Nasty, dude. All right, let's jump on this next topic. We're going to kind of recycle content from last year. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you really look at our body of work, it's all the same episode to episode
every
anyways.
episode's the same.
Yeah, we just talk about ugly, awful guitars or guitars that we think are cool.
Yeah, so I think it's that time of the year to look at. Maybe we'll do a 2017 one.
That's what I'm saying.
If you all have suggestions, what we're going to talk about right now is the Guitars Gift Guide.
Last year we put up an article, and the title was 2016 Guitarist Gift Guide for Shoppers Who Have No Clue What to Give a Guitarist. So this is us revisiting that and just kind of refreshing it, I guess.
Yeah.
So first on the list for what to buy is guitar strings.
Yeah. I think this year we've seen a big kind of one of the shifts we've seen, and maybe it's just proximity effect, I don't know, is more people who are willing to try premium strings.
Yeah.
Whether was it like, I think Ernie Ball came out with some strings that are like crazy expensive. They're like the Ernie Ball Platinums. Is that right?
I don't remember the
like
specifics, but I know what you're talking about.
They're like $30 a pack or something. I might be thinking it might be a different brand. They probably were out last year in 2016, but I didn't really think about them too hard. Were like the Diodario NYXLs. So last year, we said string subscription, and maybe as an addendum to that, I would say like
premium strings.
Buy somebody a pack of premium strings.
In the grand scheme of things, as far as like gifts go, it's not that big of a deal to go spend $25-$30 on a premium set of strings. Our buddy Gabriel Sonoro, who's been a supporter of the show in the past, he makes just about the best damn strings you'll ever find in the world. And what do those cost? I think they're like $25 to start or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That's just me guessing. Steve is furiously searching on his phone to find the real price. But we've talked about him before. Gabriel hand winds those strings. And when I say hand winds, his bare fingers are on the string, wrapping the coil around the outside of the string, the wrap around the outside of the string. And then on, I think on the premium sets, he'll do like silk wraps around the ball ends. So if you're shopping for someone who has a specific style guitar, he can make a set that will be custom made just for that style. Say it's like a Jazz Master or some sort of like fun Gretsch or something like that.
Yeah, just the basic electric guitar string from thegts.co. The GT rounds start at $21. That's for the basic.
And that's a great gift idea.
If you want, he's got a few artist series type deals. Am I talking about the right thing? Maybe I'm not.
But and then another option for strings is if you're not confident ordering a set of custom strings from Gabriel or whoever else you find that makes custom strings. If you walk into a Guitar Center or any guitar shop and they have like a big box of like Diodario strings for like a good deal, like 10 sets in a box, you buy that for someone that's a guitarist and they're going to get use out of that eventually. It might take them a couple of years, but they're going to use all those strings. Even if there's not the same brand of string that they like to use, every now and then they're going to have some guitar around. They're like, I just want to throw strings on this thing and play around with it. I don't want to commit to my other strings, or I don't have a set of strings. It's always great to have backup strings. It's the sort of gift that no one's going to be mad about because they're going to use it. What do you say, Steve?
Sorry, I got really lost because I'm on the GTS.co. Apparently, Paul Frank uses Gabriel Tenorio strings.
I'm not surprised. He's up in that LA scene.
So that's cool.
Yeah, Paul Frank is a cool guy in the guitar world right now. He makes straps and all kinds of stuff, and he's a player and likes cool gear. I follow him on Instagram. He's a guy. That's the next thing. Number 2 on the list is straps.
Yeah,
you could totally get Paul Frank to make you a guitar strap for your loved one. Remember Paul Frank? With that fun little monkey character?
Yeah, Julius.
Yeah, he's still out there making stuff and making it by hand. And he makes guitar straps that are really freaking cool. So that I don't know how much those cost, but that would be a great gift for someone, especially someone who already likes that aesthetic. But straps in general are a great gift. You can walk into any guitar store and they're going to have a bunch of straps. You can find something that's got a lot of personality that you think will fit the personality of the person that you're buying for. And I have a ton of straps around here. I always need an extra one. I'm leaving straps on guitars and moving them around, and it's like always just a little bit of a pain when I got to like pull one off another guitar and put it on a new one. I prefer to just leave them on my guitars if I can.
What's a little funny too is I found that I have like preferenced straps to where like I pull out certain guitars now and I'm like, this strap just feels all wrong.
Yeah, you have to have the right strap for the right guitar. And there's a lot of room. Like if you're like the cool, crazy, like uncle type in this gift buying situation, you can get your niece or nephew or grandchild or even like your kid or your partner, whoever. If you want to get something funky, there's a lot of room to get funky, weird stuff.
Yeah.
In the strap department.
I've been seeing a lot of like the classic style woven straps are kind of having a big resurgence over the last year or so. Those are like really, I think kind of as you see more like indie and like country influence on like kind of underground rock scene, you see a lot more of like woven.
Like if you go over to like Soldier Strap, you can custom build straps that have all the different like vintage patterns on them and stuff. What was the other brand? There's Soldier Strap and there's Couch.
Couch is a big one.
Yeah.
We were talking about ESO straps last week.
There's a ton of strap brands.
You know, Levy's is one that you find kind of in every store.
Yep.
So there's a lot of brands out there. We're still big fans of Barefoot Buttons.
Yeah, that's number 3 on the list. That's made the cut from last year. I mean, we really thought this list out last year, so it's like this stuff is just going to hold up.
I feel like there's probably some other. I don't know. Would you, here's a question.
Lay it on me, man.
Would you give somebody a Triller as a Christmas present?
I would as a joke.
Not as like an actual gift.
No. I mean, it's a gift, but it's like when you give like that novelty gift to someone that you have like a fun relationship with.
Right.
I would give the Triller. I would give those finger guards, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah, Barefoot Buttons are still a solid gift in my book. They've come up with a couple different options recently. They have, like there's some pedals that have the LED with like the little metal ring around it really close to the foot switch.
Yeah.
And you can't put Barefoot Buttons on those. He's come out with one that's got a completely flat bottom, which means that it's compatible with those kinds of pedals.
Interesting, because I actually have like a couple pedals that I tried to put a Barefoot button on and I couldn't do it.
And then he's got the Tall Boys, of course, which are great for pedals that are on the back of people's pedal boards. And they're just a really colorful and affordable gift that most guitarists will get use out of. If you know someone who's an electric guitarist, a Barefoot Button is a great gift. Like people might not even know that they want it, but they get it and they'll use it and they can use it over and over again for the rest of their life with whatever pedals that they have. And it's just a solid thing to have around. I use my Barefoot Buttons all the time. I always have like at least 2 or 3 of them on my board at any given time. It's not the sort of thing where you need to have them on every single pedal, although some people do that. It's like if you've got 2 pedals that are close together or like at an inconvenient height, it just helps even that out. You know, it makes it a lot easier to reach your pedals. Like I said, great gift, totally affordable. You could buy someone like 3 or 4 of these and not break the bank, really, as far as gifts go. And then, of course, number 4, cables.
Yeah, got to get a cable.
You have to get cables. Everyone needs cables. I mean, I have tons of cables over here. We have a cable sponsor who sends us cables when we need them. And it's still like I always feel like I need one more cable around. Yeah. If you buy a guitarist a cable, it's going to get used. It's going to be a useful gift. And there's all sorts of fun options out there. Of course, you could go on sinusoid.com. There's a lot of fun color options with, just the cables in general, or putting colorful tech flex on there. Mm-hmm. It comes in a really neat like box when you order them. Really nice packaging. Great option for a gift. Of course, you could walk into any store and buy any cable, and whoever you're buying it for is going to appreciate it. There's all sorts of different like versions of cables out there with different looks and different features. And you could really go crazy shopping with those. Yeah. Patch cables, too. Patch cables are a great gift for anyone who has pedals and pedal boards. They always need a couple extra patch cables.
I was rewiring my board the other day and like couldn't find patch. Oh, geez, why did I buy all that other Black Friday stuff when what I really needed to buy was a power supply?
The next thing on the list, number 5, is a looper. Last year we listed Ditto Looper specifically.
Yeah.
But I feel like this year there's a lot of options out there now.
Yeah, TC's the Flashback 2 and EHX's the Canyon both have built-in loop features.
And they're both delay pedals too, like full featured delay pedals that give you a lot of fun other things, but have a looper built in. If you know someone who just likes to hang around in the room and jam on guitar like some annoying teenager, they're going to love having a looper because it allows them to record a guitar track and play leads over it and practice. It's a fantastic practicing tool. Great gift. Great gift idea. My worship leader, I think this past summer, bought a looper for his son for a birthday present and was asking me for opinions on them, and I recommended a few different brands to him. I think he ended up going with the Boss RC3.
RC3? That's, I think, the basic one.
Yeah, but that's a great looper. Like any looper pedal is going to be a great gift if you're looking to spend, we'll call that, in the $3 mark price range. Like you're going to spend probably $100 if you're getting a nice looper. I think the Ditto loopers are like $60 or something like that new. Mm-hmm. So that's more of like a stocking stuffer level depending on your budget, I guess. I don't know. If I was buying a looper for my kid and it was $60, I'd be like, that's a main gift. That's a gift under the tree.
Yeah.
And then number 6, random used pedals. I think this is one of my favorites from the list. Mm-hmm. You can go into any guitar shop or pawn shop or cruise Craigslist, and if you bought just any random guitar pedal and gave it to a guitarist, unless they're a brat, like just an awful person, they're going to be like, yay, cool, a new pedal to mess around with. Even if they already have that pedal,
yeah,
you can stack it.
There's going to be some guy
stacking pedals is awesome.
There's going to be someone who's like, if I got a Metal Zone for Christmas, I just, why did you even bother?
Well, yeah, see my previous comment about brats. You know, like if I got a Metal Zone for Christmas, I'd be like, oh man, Uncle so-and-so, Aunt so-and-so, you're the coolest. Like, this is so much fun, That's a great idea. Number 7, gig bags. These can get more expensive. I just got a mono case this past year, which is like a $200-something investment.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm going to use for decades. I have a case around that my parents bought me when I was a teenager. I'm still using it. Mm-hmm. And they're just a necessity. You can get cheaper gig bags or you can get more expensive ones, but you're going to be somewhere in between like $80 and $275 or something like that, depending on what you buy. I honestly wouldn't buy a super, super cheap, super thin gig bag because that's not going to do anyone any favors. That's the sort of thing that just gets given away with guitars. So yeah, I wouldn't go cheap on a gig bag, but you don't need to go super expensive either. If you're in the $100 mark, you're probably getting something nice. Like I said, I got a mono case. Gator makes really nice bags that are comparable and more affordable. I'm sure Levy's makes some bags and various other brands that you can just check out in guitar shops when you walk in. Do you have anything to add to that?
Nope. Number 8 was pedal kits. I haven't been following the kit market a lot this year. I know obviously like a lot of these brands are still available. Build your own clone, General Guitar Gadgets.
Mammoth has kits. JHS has kits.
Oh yeah. Are they still? Those are sold through StewMac, right?
I think so. And they're kits of some of their discontinued versions of like Tube Screamers and other pedals and stuff like that.
So that's if you know someone who is looking to get into learning more about effects and how to build them and modify them and whatever, there's a great gift for that person.
That's a more involved gift. Like if you know this person well enough to know that they'll like to put circuits together and solder things, then this is a great gift for them.
Yeah. Anyway, we'd love to hear your suggestions for great gifts.
Should we go through the not what?
Let's slam through the what not to buy. Novelty shirts. Don't buy that. There's a thing you said recently to me that you don't wear clothes that you can buy at a guitar store.
It's a personal rule. Don't wear anything you can buy at Guitar Center or any other guitar store. That's hats, that's shirts, that's shoes, belt buckles, the whole thing.
What if you didn't buy it at Guitar Center, but it is also sold at Guitar Center?
I would avoid it if it's sold at Guitar Center, especially hats and shirts. That's what I'd say. So I know it's tempting. It seems like an easy gift, but I'd just avoid it.
But I'm saying, like, what if, like...
Oh, I thought we were going to do this quick.
Okay. Any guitar amp the clerk at the guitar store recommends, because they're just trying to sell you something, maybe.
They're just trying to move product to make their boss happy.
You're going to spend a lot of money on something that doesn't have universal utility.
Yeah, and also they're talking to you. They're not talking to the person who the gift is for, so they have no idea what that person wants.
Novelty guitar gifts. Nobody really wants a lamp.
No one wants a lamp shaped like a guitar. No one wants a little statue of someone playing a guitar.
I will say one exception to this.
Okay, lay it on me.
Is themed Christmas tree ornaments. I think those are cool.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Because they only come out once a year. They're thematic. They're dual thematic because they're both a thing that you're into and they're Christmas.
The thing that's a bummer about getting a Christmas ornament for a Christmas gift, though, is that you're not going to see it for a year.
That's fair. That's fair.
But it's like the sort of thing, like, there's people in my family who they'll give a Christmas ornament every year, but it's like the tag on the gift.
Right.
So that's a fun thing to do.
Guitar shop gift cards.
That's just so
everyone's
impersonal.
online. You know, I don't know if I feel as strongly about this now as I did then, but I do like, you know, some of these, like, I guess, like, if you got a Guitar Center gift card, because that's what we have a picture of, you could use it at Guitar Center online. We talked about how a lot of people are using online stores, but, you know, if it's a really local place, or like if you're sending it to somebody, they might not even have a Guitar Center near them, and that's where you start to really run into problems. You know, I did say, you know, use a preloaded Visa card or just straight cash, because then you can spend it anywhere.
This is the gift that you give to that brat I was talking about earlier. The person who is just going to be a little pain in the ass no matter what you give them, and they just want cash, but you don't want to give them cash because then, you know, they'll just use it on Starbucks or drugs, you know. So you give them a gift card to make sure that they're buying something at the guitar store.
That was a trick statement there, because Starbucks is a drug.
Yeah, chemical addiction, guys. That's it. We did it.
We made it.
Sorry if that was boring to people who are normal listeners, but who cares? Let's jump into the next ad.
Our sponsors probably care.
They do. We should have thought this out farther in advance and sold spots on this to sponsors.
Oh my gosh. This next ad is a custom shop Les Paul acoustic quintuple A flame maple ebony fretboard, tree of life inlay, and Ultima neck. Oh, okay. So this has a few different. Okay, it's an acoustic, it's an electric, it's both. Have you ever seen one or played one?
No.
Truly a one of one Gibson Les Paul custom shop guitar. The 2001 Gibson custom shop catalog featured the acoustic on the front cover, and on the inside, introduction photos show that the exciting new Les Paul acoustic electric guitar, the acoustic with attitude, will be available in two finishes: translucent black and tan. Oh, good lord, this is a long art piece.
You don't have to read the whole thing.
It's got a bunch of features. It's got a LR Bags pickup. It's a piezo pickup, so it's just in the thing. In the saddle, the volume and tone controls are hidden in the upper bout. It's got this quintuple A flame maple top, which does look fantastic.
Oh, it's very pretty.
It's got this crazy tree of life inlay. It comes with a beautiful handmade natural leather strap with shallow gold strap locks also included.
Exquisite.
It's got a Gibson custom shop art historic locking 5-clasp hardshell case. The first two people to purchase these apparently were Rick Nielsen and Joe Perry.
I'm sure they just shopped all day for them and totally didn't have just the roadie spend money on whatever.
Apparently they were at the 2002 NAMM show and bought them there.
Here's my question.
At the NAMM show.
They bought them, and I know I'm coming hard and fast on this thing. They bought them. Were they ever sighted playing them? Did anyone ever see these guys playing these guitars, is my question. Has anyone ever seen anyone playing these guitars in public or in studio?
I don't know, Ryan. Apparently there were, it's believed that there were less than 200s of these.
200s, multiple 200s.
200s. There are 200 less than 200 sold, and it's 2-year run. This particular one for sale comes with a certificate of authenticity.
Oh, good.
And evaluation from 2012 from the from Grun's guitars. So that way you know how much it's really worth.
I wonder how much Grun charges to give a certificate of authenticity.
I have no idea.
Do people bring random guitars in there? Can you make sure this is authentic? It's like, yeah, this is an authentic Mexican Stratocaster.
So apparently, like in 2002, the plain Jane acoustic with trapezoid markers, which you also included a picture of, what listed for basically $5,700. Then doing full body binding is $900. The Ultima neck is a $1,200 option. Ebony fretboard was a $650 option, and the Tree of Life was a $2,000 option. So it's like basically this one that is on this Reverb listing is all the options.
Yeah, imagine the savings at $1,500, $12,500.
Yeah.
I gotta say, honestly, I like the look of this one with the trapezoid inlays better, and that cherry burst.
Right.
I would probably, if I was ever in the market for one of these, I would go for binding on that just to break up the edge. Mm-hmm. But I think I like that look a lot better. This is an interesting concept in that it's a Les Paul style body with no pickups, no controls on the front of it. And the wood is carved up around to this bridge, like acoustic bridge saddle. It's a very interesting and creative look. I think the price and the opulence of it is just over the top, though. And when I look at this, I see a guitar that no player actually buys. Like this doesn't go into playing rotation for anyone. This is like an investment piece, which is such a Gibson thing to do, is to make guitars that are just investment pieces for, people who are speculative guitar collectors.
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone playing one of these because there's no way it's like going to replace someone's acoustic if they need an acoustic on stage. And it's definitely not going to replace anyone's electric. It's a museum piece.
Yeah. It's a really hard thing to search too.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any on
eBay. Well, that's because everyone who bought them 15 years ago just stuck them into their private collections. They're probably all under glass in rich people's homes. I wouldn't be surprised
if what this guy's saying is correct, that there were less than 200 made and whatever and all this other stuff. But it's just kind of like
I'd rather see a different company run with this concept and make a $1,500 guitar out of it. You know what I mean? That carved top with the acoustic bridge saddle and making it an acoustic guitar. I think it's a cool look, but I'd like to see it in more of a plain style at more of an accessible price. Because if you're someone who's playing an electric guitar that's actually an acoustic guitar, that's a niche thing for you already.
Yeah.
No one's buying this as a main guitar. Like, that's part of the issue with me, I think, is that this is not a main guitar in any respect. It's a side piece.
It's kind of a thing, it's the kind of thing that like maybe, and this is the problem is, this is like one of those things where, you own one, like maybe because I don't know, like the only people who they talk about like Rick Nielsen and Joe Perry, and I feel like that's the only people who would like own this is not necessarily like those people, but someone who like already owns a bunch of Les Pauls and is like, oh man, like twice a year I do a stripped down acoustic set.
Right.
What if I had a guitar that was exactly like my other ones?
This guitar would have lived well in that hair metal acoustic ballad space.
Right.
If this guitar was in the Every Rose Has Its Thorn music video, it would have been 100% appropriate. But I mean, it just feels like it's out of its time. It's too opulent for anyone to actually need. Like, there's better solutions out there for actually doing what this guitar does. It's just a collection piece when I look at it. That's really my gut on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right. I think this is kind of in that same category as, you know, the Martin number 1 million or whatever.
Totally,
you know, all these things were like, or Martin
it's a showpiece.
Martin every year puts out a bunch of showpieces that everybody freaks out about because they're like, who's going to pay $10,000 for this guitar?
But they only make 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah. Well, they usually...
they did that marijuana guitar this last year. They didn't make a run of those.
Right.
They didn't make 200 of those. Like, it was a one-off.
So I know in the past when they've done like the CEO series, they've done like I think 12 of each, and they'll do like 8 or 9 different models. So there's that. But even like a run of 200, I feel like maybe it's not limited enough.
200 is a significant amount of guitars.
Like but when you're not actually hand doing, I don't want to say they're not hand making any of it, but I think, you know, a run of 200 it's both a big and a small number, if that makes sense.
It is. Like, if you think about 200 guitars for like a small shop, that's still like 4 employees working for a year and a half or something like that. Like, that's a lot of.
But what I also mean is like the amount of man hours for Gibson to do like 200 of these is probably like
because they set up jigs and templates.
Yeah, it's probably a similar number of man hours as it takes for Martin to do like their heavily inlaid stuff, because those inlays are, you know, are much more labor intensive.
Sure.
Though this one does have the Ultima or the Tree of Life inlay.
Oh, everyone wants that.
Tree of Life.
For some reason, it looks tacky to me. I much prefer the trapezoids on the base model. I can't
see anything that's Tree of Life and not think of the Schecter C1 Classics that had I think they called it the Vine of Life inlay.
Yeah, it's probably personal style, but I just feel like the crazy inlays are too opulent to actually be interesting.
Yeah, you're right.
Like no one from the audience can see that what's actually going on in those big extensive inlay murals.
Yeah,
it's for the player. And the player's got to have really fancy pants taste to like that, in my opinion. Just give me a little dot. That's all I need. Or a simple trapezoid, and I'm happy with inlays anyways. Or just give me those shark fins on a Jackson Randy Rhodes. I used to want one of those shark guitars. All right, let's jump onto the topic.
Yeah, 12-string guitars. What do you know about them?
Well, what Bruce Kumquat asked... Why no love for 12 strings, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
I don't have it up anymore. 12 strings, your gut reaction. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Steve?
It used to be super thumbs up, and now it's kind of like meh.
Yeah. Every time I think about owning a 12 string, I'm like, man, I don't love tuning that much. It's twice the tuning, and I never play anything that requires that sound. But, I mean, you could make an argument that there are ways to achieve that sound on the cheap these days.
Yeah.
Or with, like, pedals and whatnot. Like, if you're running, you know, like a Pog from EHX or the Pitchfork, or even, you know, like the sub-octave, the sub and up from TC, or what was, you know, there's various octave pedals out there that can give you kind of a 12-string sound. I kind of wanted to play around with the Mimic when I had it, and putting an octave on one channel of it and then mixing it back together, because it gives a slight delay. And that would have given a slight delay to give you more of like a 12-string effect.
Yeah.
But there is nothing like the real thing. And you know if you need an acoustic 12-string or an electric 12-string in your set, it just seems so specific to me. And it's another thing where it's like, is that your main guitar, really?
Right.
Or is that a side piece?
And I knew guys who like would play 12-string all the time, but they were usually like second acoustic guitar in a group.
Yeah.
And I think part of that might have been part of why when I first started playing guitar, I was really fascinated by them and thought they were really cool, because like I knew these guys who had them. And you know, I didn't necessarily think about the fact that they were using them for something specific. They were also like older guys who probably like grew up on the Eagles.
Right.
And the Birds and
that
stuff.
one song from the Eagles that has 12-string guitar.
And like, well, you know, like some Zeppelin stuff has 12-string.
Someone's gonna write us angrily and be like, "There's all these songs from the Eagles with 12-string guitar. What are you talking about?" Well, there's only one song that I know of,
right?
So deal with it.
But you know, there is something like that's a very natural chorus sound that sounds really great.
It's a very beautiful sound you get it from a 12-string.
Super versatile.
No.
And like you said, I never thought about it being, you know, young, like thinking about like, now I think, you know, oh, if I break a string, then maybe I can replace one string or I'll replace them all. You know?
Oh gosh, yeah. Think about breaking strings on a 12-string.
But now it's like you break a string on a 12-string, I guess you could replace one string. You saw the option. But if you are a replace them all like person because you want, you know, even new string tone, like have fun with that.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun afternoon.
I guess, you know, once you
strings.
Sign yourself up for that, like it is what it is. I'd still like to get a 12-string at some point. I don't know what I would use it for at the moment, but it still seems like a fun idea in my head. It's just not something where like I walk around going, man, I sure wish I had a 12-string.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing with me where when I think about it, be like, that'd be a fun thing to bust out at church and play like a song with a 12-string, like play lead on it. But then I'd want to like mix in like a regular guitar.
Right.
Oh, I could get a double neck. And then I start thinking like, holy hell, I don't want an 18-string guitar.
Yeah, no, you really have to like, you really have to have a plan for it. And, you know, if it's, I honestly like, I know they exist. I know some people are into them and whatever. Like, I have almost no interest in a 12-string electric guitars.
Yeah, because that's like a whole other thing. My uncle offered me his 12-string acoustic. It was an Ovation years and years ago. He's like, hey, you should come by sometime and I'll give you my old Ovation 12-string and you can have fun with that. And I was really excited at the time. But then I never got excited enough to drive all the way out to Palm Springs to pick it up. Oh,
jeez. Yeah.
So I think if it had been any other guitar, I would have made that trip. But I just never got excited enough to, like I said, drive out there. What is that, like a 2-hour drive one way?
At least.
Yeah, and you're driving out into that heat on the Palm Springs. But I've done big drives for other guitars before. And it was during a time of my life when I had the time. So that says something. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you need a 12-string guitar, you know it already, and you don't need anyone to tell you that you need it.
Yeah. If
you don't need it, then you probably are like us, where you entertain thoughts about it from time to time, but never pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked about hitting that sound with pedals, and you can definitely do that if you need to fill just, like 30 seconds of an intro in your cover band or whatever. But if you're a 12-string enthusiast, you just need that real thing.
Yeah.
You need the real deal. Should we jump on the last topic or ad?
This last ad was sent by Alan Chappell. It's a Line 6 Pocket Pod, but this guy's asking $100 for it. And he'll throw in the last scoop of peanut butter for free.
This is one of the craziest, ad photos I've ever seen. This person must be a product photographer or something like that. It's a dark, silky background, and the peanut butter sitting in a piece of crystal, glassware, and there's just mood lighting, and the Line 6 Pocket Pod looks so sexy. It looks like this person usually photographs condoms or something like that, or sexy candles.
Yeah, it's sitting on on a loop of out of focus Christmas.
Oh, is that what
lighting.
It is? I thought it was a crystal bowl.
No, I think that's
so that's
the
lighting,
kind of fancy
then.
Lighting.
Oh gosh!
So that's why it's up lighting, and then there's some kind of overhead chandelier looking thing, or I don't know what.
And it's sitting on a jar of crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah. It's like they know. Like, they have to know this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But $100 for the pod, I mean, these are $130 new. They go for like $40 on the used market now.
Yeah, and you can pick up a Pod XT for like $80
but
used
dude,
now.
That last scoop of peanut butter.
That's a $50 scoop right there.
It's Peanut Delight Crunchy peanut butter. I don't know anything about them.
I've thought about picking up a Pod XT every now and then. Not the pocket pod, because I think that's stupid.
Just the full bean?
Yeah, the full bean.
Well, that's what you had before, right?
Mostly just as a way to like revisit it and maybe make some content out of it.
Right.
And see if it was still good. Because I thought it was good when I had it. Who knows now? Like, well, how would it stack up against the Katana? You know, that's what I'm wondering. But the pocket pod, definitely not for $100. Not even with a full jar of peanut butter. I'm going to say it. Not even with a full jar.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
How many jars of peanut butter would you think it would take to make it worth $100 with this pocket pod?
At least 12.
12 jars of peanut butter to make it
It'd have to
worth
be like
$100.
organic peanut butter.
Oh, you want the organic stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Can I rant on peanut butter for a minute? On organic peanut butter? Steve, can I have your permission to rant on peanut butter?
Are you going to complain about the oil separating?
Nope. I'm going to complain about organic peanut butter
being gritty.
Because it's gritty. You've seen me rant about this before on the internets. Skippy and Jif have both come up with organic versions of peanut butter that don't have all the sugar. They don't have, extra salt and extra oil and all that. They just have the same ingredients that, whatever peanut butter you get at Trader Joe's or Sprouts or World Market or whatever. And they still make it the same creamy, awesome texture that I love.
Right.
It's because it's a mechanical process and the organic peanut butter people refuse to do it. I like that texture. I would buy organic peanut butter with
Is it really just a mechanical process?
I don't even care about organic. I would buy sugar, like peanut butter that has less sugar in it, if it was that same texture. And it's totally a mechanical process. The organic peanut butter grinders are using different machinery because gritty peanut butter reads as more natural to people who buy that stuff. But I want that texture. I love that creamy texture. So that's my rant anyways. If anyone out there makes organic peanut butter, go buy one of the machines that makes it super creamy. Because Jeff can do it, Skippy can do it, it's because they have the machines to do it. That's my rant. Do you think I should post this as an excerpt on YouTube?
Maybe. I'm trying to read about. I'm not going to read about all this.
Don't read about that. I'm sure someone will have other opinions on this, and maybe someone out there is a peanut butter maker and will be able to tell us how it goes. But
it sounds like it might just be because of. Because the smaller companies can't afford the machines.
Probably. It's probably a really expensive machine. I, though, have made homemade peanut butter in a food processor at home. And
was also smooth? And
gotten it creamier. I haven't gotten it as creamy as, Jif or Skippy, but I've gotten it creamier than, your organic brand's peanut butter, So they're not doing their due diligence in the grinding of those peanuts is what I'm saying.
Now I feel like I need to go and grab a jar of organic Skippy and compare it to a jar of whatever and see what, go line by line.
Like the ingredients?
Go line by line down the ingredients. Because apparently, at least according to Livestrong, the grittiness comes from, or you can eliminate the gritty, or you can make it more creamy by adding oils. So maybe they're just no, we're not going to add any non-peanut oils. I don't know. Whatever. Big thanks to our sponsors, Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. If you're looking for a cable with a 100-year warranty, that will be awesome. And something about snakes behind you and smiles and other things, head on over to sinusoid.com.
Yeah. Sinusoid Cables. They make cables and they make the show possible. Also, big thanks to Moniker Guitars for sending us a rival series to check out. It's been a bunch of fun. I'm really looking forward to getting this demo done. I think people are really interested in these guitars and want to hear what we have to say about them.
Yep.
So check out that demo.
Learn more about the Moniker Rival series at monikerguitars.com. This week's song was sent to us by Shannon, who is in a band called Mutiny at Midnight. This song is called Brick Dust Blues. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to send a song to us, you got our email address.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. If you're looking for a great cable with a 100-year warranty, go check out them out on the moon.
Yeah, go check them on the moon. On the moon. Yeah. Okay, you want to try again, Steve?
I don't know. Do you want to stop laughing?
Yeah, I do. That's all I want to do. Just have some fun. Okay, do it, man. Do it.
Hey, guys. This episode is brought to you by Sheryl Crow.
I wish it was. Cheryl, send us your money and we'll talk about you.